Hello. Yo. What did the tomato say to the other tomato in the 100-meter sprint? Catch up. Okay, here we go. New topic. We're talking about linear relationships. What are we talking about? When I talk about linear in this particular case just means we're talking about some sort of straight lines, and relationships, we're talking about kind of like, I guess, how X and Y relate to each other. So, long story short, this whole topic is about straight lines. Okay. You hear the word linear relationships, we're talking about straight lines. First topic of the day, straight line graphs. Okay. Now, these linear relationships, as we said before, they produce straight lines. Now, there's a couple things to note here, and I want you to take careful note here. There's always going to be two variables because those are the two things that we relate to each other, hence the relationship. Okay, you have an X and you have a Y. Okay, X is always going to be your horizontal axis and also what we call your independent variable. So I think about it's the variable that I change. So independent, I change it. And then your dependent variable, which is your Y, which is your vertical axis, is it depends on the other variable that you change. So it's dependent. Okay, so it depends, or it's the variable that I change. Now, this doesn't mean very much until we start to look at some examples. So we're going to get to graphing fairly soon. Just remember that your independent is your X, so your horizontal, and your dependent is your Y, which is your vertical. A couple things here, especially with the word graphing. Okay, you need to use consistent spacing, you need to use an appropriate scale, and generally 9 times out of 10, you'll need to use a table of values. Okay, let's say, for example, Mr. K earns $15 per hour teaching. Let's pray that he actually earns more than that. But let's graph the linear relationship. So first things first, we're going to fill in this table of values. So I'm going to let X be the independent. It's the variable that I change. It's the hours. And so depending on how many hours I work, that affects how much money I make. Okay, so to make things nice and simple, I'm going to go with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I can use whatever values I want for my X values because it's the variable that you change. So you pick the numbers that work for you. I'm going to be consistent here. And so if I work 0 hours, I'll be making $0. And then for everyone after that, I'm just going to write it in terms of 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. Okay, now to graph this linear relationship, I'm going to draw some nice little axes here. And you're going to use a ruler. I don't have to because iPad. But I can see here that my X is always my horizontal, Y is always my vertical. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Gonna label it. Bye. There's my parents. And then I've also got these ones here. Let's see what scale I need to use here. It goes up to $100. So let's go 20, 40, 60, 80, and I've got $100 up here. And again, all you're really going to do is if it's 0, it's 0. If it's 1, it's 15. If it's 2, it's 30. If it's 3, it's 45. If it's 4, it's 75. 4 is actually 60. 5 is 75. And then 6 is 90. And so you can see here, if I've done this kind of good enough, they should be kind of on the line. It's close. I'm going to try one more time, see if I can fix it here. Okay. Now, it's not perfect, but what should have happened here is all my lines should have, whoops, that would make sense because my 6 should actually be all the way up here. My 90 should be somewhere here. Struggle Street. Let me fix that. That looks more like it. And so this is a good thing to note here. There you go. That's much better. A good thing to note here is if your dots don't match up, you're probably not a linear relationship. You've probably done something wrong for this topic. Okay. Now, here's another example. I don't think I need to go through another one. I'll start it off, but then I'll get you guys to sketch. So Mr. K hires a car. There's $100 booking fee, and there's $45 per 10 kilometers. I want to graph the linear relationship. So again, I can see that the thing that I change is the per 10 kilometers. So in other words, my distance. And then my Y or my dependent is actually my money, my cost. So again, real quick, if I was to fill this out, I'm going to 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And I get to choose the X values because it's the variable that I change. Now for here, even if I don't go any kilometers, I will have to pay my $100 booking fee. Okay, now from here on out, it's another $45 per 10 kilometers. So it'll be 145 after the first 10, another 45 on top of that becomes 190, becomes 235, 280, 325, and then 370 if I've done my maths right. 45, yeah. Okay, now all I've done is I've plus 45 every time, every 10 kilometers. This is now something you can sketch as well. Okay, hopefully that helps. And that's the end of this lesson. Okay, have fun, enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.